There's this wild idea going around in the personal development and spiritual communities that you somehow need to wait to feel inspired. Maybe you have to get aligned. Maybe you first have to feel confident. You got to heal your traumas and whatnot before you could take the next step, before you could take action towards your dreams. And if you're one of them, I want you to listen to this video because this is something that happened to me a couple of years back. I wasn't feeling well. I went through like this entire spiritual awakening, and I'll get more into it towards the end of the video. But what kept me from living my dreams and creating and taking action was this notion that I somehow needed to wait to feel good. I needed to wait till I had less fear. I needed to wait till I feel aligned. Imagine if I were to ask you to view your life, your business, your career, your relationships as your own unique personal playground. The place where you get to discover yourself, you get to learn, you get to grow, you get to heal, you get to learn new things as you live life. Not as a means to an end, not like having this goal and your whole focus is just to get to the goal, but to kind of get into the journey more, to enjoy it, to explore. And again, not just to fragment yourself and create this whole space for healing without taking action, but rather to combine the healing and taking action, whether it's in your career or relationship or business, whatever it is, so you could actually heal within real life experience, right? Because that's where it really matters. That's where it really counts. You actually don't have to wait till you feel confident in order to take action. The funny thing is that if you take the action, that is actually going to give you confidence. Same with a relationship. A lot of us feel like we need to heal a ton and, we have to be, so to speak, perfect before we could enter into a relationship. And the irony is that we actually heal better within a relationship, right? Because everything is relational. If you're simply putting yourself on top of a mountain and you're meditating all day, you're not really in the action. The triggers that need to come up and the wounds that need to be hit in order for you to kind of like close out those things, get to the next level and grow is not happening in isolation. It happens in real life, in the boardroom, when you're triggered in a meeting. That's when you are truly healing. We are under this illusion that if we wait, we push things off, we hold off until we're no longer triggered, until, our family doesn't get in the way, until we feel fearless, until. And my dear, that never actually happens. That day never comes until you decide that you are inspired enough to take action, that you are confident enough to take that next step, that you are healed enough to get in the game. And by the way, this video is really geared towards the person who has been healing for a long time, and maybe you find yourself in this continuous loop. It's like a spiral, and it's like, I'm still healing, I'm still healing, I'm still healing, and you're pushing off the real living, the real life where you're creating your dreams, where you're experiencing, the joys and the lows and the triggers and the fun and all of it, right? Where you're not just like hiding out and running away until that day comes, right? Because that day is not coming until you decide that you're ready to get into it. And the reason I am so passionate about this is because I found myself in that loop many years back. It could still pop up here and there where I am convinced that I have to start digging deeper and I have to go into a whole healing mode, and that never, ever, ever ends up well, because healing happens in action, not when you're isolating yourself, not when you're running off on top of a mountain. And again, unless you're a monk and your job is to sit on top of a mountain and meditate, then by all means. But my friends, I'm speaking of experience because, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I had a situation a couple years back where I'm not going to get into the details of this unless you guys are interested in hearing more about like what a spiritual awakening is, but it's not something that I talk about a lot. But just to give you the gist of it, I got sick and I was going around to different doctors and nobody could figure out what the problem was. My blood work was off the charts, the markers were not right, but yet it just, I just kept going from specialist to specialist and nobody could help me. I ended up having to take matters into my own hands, so to speak, with God, of course. And I just started meditating and I started going inward and I started healing. When I tell you that I was meditating for hours upon hours per day, I am not kidding, because I couldn't do anything else. It was the first time in my life where I couldn't work. I was forced to stop, basically. And of course it was a great experience at the time, because it was really the first time where I had to face myself. I really had to recognize all of the thoughts and beliefs that I was holding onto that was literally making me sick, right? And I, started seeing the connection between, mind, body, and soul. And I'm not recommending anybody to meditate for that long. It was an amazing experience, but it is not life, okay? And what happened was that once I was already healed, so to speak, and I was feeling better and I was having more energy, I had a hard time getting back into the groove of things. I had a hard time getting back into real life. And, I was sort of protecting myself. First, I was protecting myself from negative energy, and I just wanted to stay in this blissful state all the time. If you were to ask me then, I believe that was like in 2016, if you were to ask me then what my most desired thing is in the world, I would tell you I just want to run away and sit on top of a mountain and blissfully meditate, because life was so good. I wasn't around people, I wasn't working properly, and I wasn't getting triggered, and I was just healing myself continuously. And again, of course, everything has its time. It propelled me forward and into obviously what I'm doing today. I even got certified in energy healing, and I would just constantly do self-healing on myself, and it really worked. But the problem was that I took it a bit too far, right? We sometimes go from one extreme to the next, at least I do. And I had to learn how to come back into the game of life. And even if I got triggered and things weren't going my way and I had to learn certain things, it took me a long time to recognize that that is the goal. The goal is to be in life and get triggered so it could reveal to us what we need to heal and let go of. We're still holding on to negative beliefs, right? We have to recognize our own limitations. And if we're not in the game, if we're not in that boardroom, or if we're not, going after our dreams and possibly facing rejection, or getting into a relationship where, old wounds and traumas might come up, then what are we really doing, right? And again, if you are someone who's still in that healing space, you don't have to do it all at once. You gotta expand a little bit, right? When I say get out of your comfort zone, it's not start a whole new life and just expose yourself and destroy everything that you've worked on. Not at all. You just put your feet into the pool. You dip your feet in and you test it, and you get triggered and something comes up and you breathe through it, and now you have all the tools, right, to help you work through whatever it is, and that will expand you, that will take you to your next level, and this is the real game of life, my friends. And this is why I like to call it your own personal playground, because when you face everything with childlike curiosity, wow, why is this making me feel this way? What did this thing bring up in me? Right? Or where am I still holding on to limitations? Even if you're facing painful moments with that same childlike curiosity as if you're in a playground, that changes the game. It changes your life. It's just miraculous what could happen when you approach it from that angle. Sitting idle, waiting around, wishing, hoping, dreaming, laying on the couch and just exploring your feelings over and over and over and over again is not where the real battlefield is. The battlefield is when you show up for your life, when you speak up for yourself, and you might be rejected because of that. When you put yourself out there and maybe you have a fear of feeling, exposed. When you get into that relationship, even if it feels terrifying. When you're creating your art and yes, it might get mocked. When you're building your business and things may not be going your way. That is where the magic happens. That is the true battlefield, and it's the most amazing place to be. Because otherwise it's like you're living in a virtual reality, right? And then when you get into the game and you show for your life, this is where it happens. And there is magic, and then there is stuff that we need to learn, and there is magic again, and you keep on going, and you keep on moving forward. And this is where you build your true strength. True resilience comes from showing up in a real way, from living your life as if it's your playground, from allowing your business and relationships to grow you and teach you and show you what else you could explore, right? Not by avoiding and running away and not feeling ready. You're not even giving yourself an opportunity or a chance to know what is possible. And one of the reasons I love this so much is because you get a chance to embody and practice everything that you have been working on, like intellectualizing, studying, learning, right? All of the books, the podcasts, whatever it is, right? You were journaling. You have a chance to actually embody and practice what you preach. And there's nothing more powerful than that. So I hope you go out there and crush it. Dip your toes, expand yourself, go to your edge, because that's where your magic is hidden. All right? Let me know if this video helped you. Where are you on your journey? What do you need help with? Let me know. I am here for you. Thank you so much for watching the video. I love you so much, and I'll see you next time.